Hey y'all, this is Jules. We're gonna do a yellow base in this one. Just a pale yellow. There's a little left in that rim. Okay. And we're gonna have both of these going. And now that we've got them started, I'll be back in like 20. I'm amazed at how often I forget to start the camera. So I put a little bit of orange and a little bit of red sprinkles on this, and then I realized I had not yet turned on the camera, so I stopped while I was allowing that color to set and turned the camera on so I could turn it over. So once it's adjusted, I'm going to go back in with some more sprinkles. And what I was really trying to get there was kind of a fade from the red dye that I'm going to use to the yellow, but I wanted it to go through orange, and so I decided I'd add some orange sprinkles to help that blend from a red. I'm not sure if it actually did anything because, you know, yellow and red make orange, but I do love the way it turned out, so I can't imagine doing it another way in the end. So I've sped up the sprinkling so that we can get through this part that takes such a long time very quickly. I really enjoy that process. I don't know why, but there's something about it that's just absolutely kind of cathartic almost, I guess, because you know, you've got that, it's a tactile feeling it rubbing through the glove. So wipe off my fingers on this lovely piece of yarn that I used to take all the extra color. And now we are going to come in with a very vibrant red color. I wanted this to fade up, and so I'm just going to apply the red color to this one end for right now, and I will apply it to the top, and then I'll go ahead and just flip over this end in a moment here, and you will see how I am not trying to spread it around. There's no extra water in the pan. I wanted this to be very low immersion dyeing at this point. I wanted the color to strike where I put it, when I put it, so that it wasn't running into yellow parts that I didn't want it to. Squish it around with the color, and so yeah, I was so fascinated by how you'd never know that there was yellow underneath that red. Once I was done putting the red on, it wasn't like it came out in orange. The red just completely took over. I never had to, you know, see if I needed to bring in red a second time to cover the yellow. It did such a good job. Um, I know that if I were pouring blue on that yellow, it would take me forever to overcome the green of the blue and yellow makes green, but the red just, it's so saturated that it just went right where I put it, and it did not just cover it a little bit. It actually like totally covered on that one end. And At this point, I have watered down the red so that we are dealing with a much less intense version because I want the fade to begin down to the other end. And it was moving a little too fast for me right there, but it seems to strike really fast. So I figured I'd let it strike where it has bled down into the yellow, and then I can put the pan back down, and it's a much lighter liquid that is running towards the back right now because I just let that color strike. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and mop up some of that red so that we have the color beginning to blend all the way into the yellow. It is such a natural progression the way this actually came out, and having more water in the pan as I'm working. So this round of red is an even lighter version. It's like practically clear. There's very little dye in that cup.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Not my colors.
No.
Probably pretty, but not my colors.
Every time I come in from here on out, there's going to be less and less dye in the liquid that I pour in because we're really just looking to make it a slight gentle fade. I want that color to just come in and out with every round you make through the color. I bet this would cake up to be something wow. Just amazing. I love the way it looks in a hank once it was dry. So now we have enough liquid that the yarn is able to actually swish around in the pan, and I'm going to go ahead and flip it here, and there's very little red left in the pan for it to pick up, but having that yellow flipped over it'll pick up all of that beautiful pale red dye that's left in the water. And of course right now we are setting the dye with heat while we go ahead and make sure that that area that was so yellow is getting all of the extra dye that's left in the pan. So now it's been on the stove for a couple of minutes. I'm going to give it a good swish in a second here to see if it's picked up all the dye out of the pan, and I don't see any more color. So now we're going to take it out of the pan and let it cool. I'm just checking it over real quick before I do take it out, and I'll have a picture of it hanked up for you in just a moment. Here we are, all hanked up and dry. I am so pleased with this colorway and how it fades so beautifully from one color to the next. Thanks for joining me.